Yo, what is going on, guys? I want to go ahead and talk to you about something that's very important to me, and that is understanding how to adjust on defense. Now, we're at the end of the year for Madden 20, but Madden 21 right around the corner, and one of the few things that translates from year to year, and what really separates at the beginning of the year your good players from your great players, is going to be understanding of how to take away specific routes. And that's just your defensive adjustments. This is something that most people don't understand. And that's why you don't see a lot of content like this on YouTube, is because, like I said, most people don't understand how this actually works. That's why your same good defensive players are your same good defensive players year in and year out. It's very important that you understand, how to take away specific routes, and it really comes into play when you're facing somebody and you don't know what they're running, right? That's one of the hardest things to adjust to, is when somebody doesn't seem to have an offensive scheme, right? They're not using the same plays, the same formations. That's going to be one of the things that is so difficult to adjust to. And when the new year drops, we don't know what the meta is going to be. We don't know what the most popular routes are going to be. But as soon as we see a route that we know is popular, we gotta know how to adjust to it. So let me go ahead and kind of explain this little bit of rambling. And I'm going to show this with the play wide receiver post out a bunch. Motion slants are one of the hardest things in the game to take away, especially with the low ball feature and all that other stuff. You can basically low ball a slant against almost anything, right? And that's not a well-kept secret. People know that. And you see a lot of the popular offenses utilize this, right? Bunch uses it. Strong close utilizes it. The far tight or near close flex utilizes motion slants. And it's because of how effective that route really is. And it's going to be popular next year, most likely, right? I mean, it's been one of the best routes every single year. But with the newer age of people coming into the game and that are playing it, they don't really understand how to take this away. A lot of people will sacrifice their user to take away a motion slant. And that's one of the things that I personally try to use against my opponent, right? I want my opponent's user to be at the line of scrimmage. That way, if they're at the line of scrimmage, if I get a little bit of time, I can attack them vertically down the field. Now, there's ways to counter that, right? So, like I was saying, if you know how to take away this motion slant, it's going to open up your user defensively to basically bait any other route that your opponent might be trying to hit. So let's take a look at it, and I'm going to show this out of nickel 3-3-5 cover 3 drop. Right, this is basically the defense I run every play. Now, what you want to do is, I mentioned this briefly in my breakdown of the gameplay that I dropped yesterday, but I always have my slot receiver to the bunch side, because I know that this slot receiver is going to be the route that is going to be the bunch's bailout. So I'm always going to man that up. Now, you'll see that if I just leave it manned up and we motion him across and do the motion slant, you'll see that Sherman gets absolutely cooked, right? I mean, that's an absolute dot right there. And you might be thinking, well, why would you even use that adjustment if it gets beat like that? And the difference between just manning him up and utilizing shading with your coverage is so huge. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people know about. If you understand shading, you can dictate to your corners and linebackers, safeties, whoever, how they actually play. So, for instance, I just showed you a simple man-up gets absolutely destroyed. So let's go ahead and do the same exact thing, right? We're going to go ahead, man him up. I'm not going to make any other adjustments yet, but because I only really want to show you this slant route. But defensively, if I shade my coverage underneath, right? So I'm manning him up, and I'm telling Sherman at this point to play underneath the receiver. Now we can make adjustments to whatever we want. Typical basic adjustment right here that I do is I put both my outside linebackers in purples, and then that allows me to react as the middle of the field guy, bait other routes, right? So in this scenario, if I know wide receiver post is coming, I'm going to guard this crosser right? So, with that being said, watch the difference in how Sherman plays this motion slant. We're going to go ahead, just motion him over. Boom. Look at this. The difference between the two is so drastic because of shading that it went from being, 10 yards away from the receiver to absolutely bagging one of the most popular routes in the game. And like I said, this is all because I understand, how to adjust. I understand how important shading of coverage is. And it's not just shading zones. A lot of people see, shading, they go, oh, are you shading inside or are you shading outside? You can shade over the top to make your zones play deeper. You can shade underneath to make your zones and man coverage play underneath routes. This is something that you don't see anybody talking about, but it is, and it has been for years, the single most important element to adjusting your defensive coverage that you're going to find, right? I mean, you can man up specific routes and take them away, but utilizing motion like this, one of the most popular routes, once again, typically, if you don't make any shading adjustments behind it, it's going to get routed. That is why, whether it's strong close, I-form close, trips tight end, tight offset, any good offense utilizes motion. And they utilize motion slants and motion outs and zigs and all that type of stuff, motion post. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't understand this element of shading your coverage to take away that specific route that you're wanting to take away, it just screws up your whole other element, right? Because one of the things that people do, and I don't really have the ability to show it to you here, is they'll put their outside receiver on cross specialist, right? So what that means is you can't cross man that guy. So you can't do an adjustment like this to where he's manned up. If he has cross specialist, he's going to absolutely kill him. Now, you might think that's not a big deal. You just manually play that. But if you have to manually play the slant as well, you're stuck in no man's land, right? You can't guard a route that's going short to the right part of the field over here and still guard something that's going intermediate to the deep area on this side. There's no way you can guard both unless your opponent just makes a mistake. But understanding the shading and how to take away one of these routes frees up your user to guard the other one. So I just wanted to go ahead and talk about that briefly. If you guys want to see me break down more popular routes and how to completely take them away, let me know. I've tried to do this type of video in the past, and the results have been pretty mixed. Some people seem to like it. Some people either don't see the importance of it or really aren't interested in it. But I believe that this is the single most important element to becoming a better Madden player, is understanding how to adjust defensively. If you asked me my honest opinion, the two things year after year that translate from Madden to Madden is understanding how to adjust your defensive coverages and how to, master, I'm going to use the term master your pocket, right? How to step up into the pocket, how to avoid, pass rushers, things like that. And that really just comes with timing and practice. That's not something that I can really show you as a video on how to do. But I can show you how to adjust. And that's really what I wanted to show you in this video, is how to take away specific little routes. And like I said, I don't think many people know this. So if you want to see more of it, make sure you like the video. Let me know in the comments that you want to see more content like this. Also, if you want to see specific things, for instance, like the mesh post route or deep post or cover 2 bombs or anything like that, if you want to know how to adjust your coverage to take away a specific route, let me know and I'll make sure I get it done for you. So with that being said, guys, hope you enjoy this video. If you want to see more things like it, once again, please like the video, leave a comment letting me know what you want to see, and I'll catch you guys next time.